Morning students, welcome to Diamond Group of Institutions. We are discussing chapter moving charges and magnetism. So today we are going to discuss a derivation, force between two parallel carrying conductors. Force between two parallel, that means two straight conductors carrying current to a conductor, and we are going to derive the derivation for the force. See the figure here. There are two straight conductors. In that I1 is the current and I2 is the current. See, first conductor is P, second conductor is Q. In a first conductor, the current flowing through the conductor is I1, and based on this I1, the magnetic field is produced, that is B1, and whereas the force is F1. And similarly here, in second conductor, how much the current is flowing is I2, and between these two conductors, and they are separated by the distance called R. See here, P comma Q are the straight conductors. I1, I2 be the currents in each conductor, that is P and Q. R be the distance between the conductors. B1 and B2 be the magnetic fields produced by those currents. And whereas the F1, F2 is the mechanical forces they are developing.
Now, the magnetic field at any point on Q due to the current in P is, that means whatever the magnetic field produced by the current I1 at a point on Q, the magnetic field at any point on Q due to the current in P is. So, yesterday we discussed the straight conductor formula, that is Ampere's circular law. B1 equal to mu naught by 2 pi into I1 by R. So how much the magnetic field is producing here? B1. And how much the current is? I1. Next, whatever this field is producing, that field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper inward, that is towards this side. And due to this magnetic field, whatever this magnetic field is there, B1, based on that B1, the conductor Q, that is second conductor, is experiencing some force. What is that force is here? F2. So that force is depends on the magnetic field B1 and the current I2. So what is the length of the conductor is L. So we can write it as F2 equal to B1 into I2 into L. So what is the B1 value here? Mu naught by 2 pi into I1 into I2 divided by R. So what is I1 and I2? Current. And what is the R? That is the distance between these two conductors, and L is the length. So this is called the force value, and we want here is that force per unit length. So force per unit length becomes F equal to mu naught by 2 pi into I1 into I2 divided by R, L as it is, divided by length. Per length means we are dividing by length. So L will going to be get cancelled. So what is the final answer here? F becomes mu naught by 2 pi into I1 into I2 divided by R. So this is the expression for the force when the current is passing through two straight parallel conductors and they are separated by the distance R. So based on this formula, we are going to define the term definition of ampere. So generally what is meant by ampere? I equal to Q by T. I equal to Q by T. The rate of flow of charges is called current. But according to this formula, we can say that I1, I2, we are taking the current flowing through the each conductor as 1 ampere, and the distance between these two conductors we are considering as 1 meter. So current through P conductor is 1 ampere, current through Q conductor is also 1 ampere, the distance between these two is also 1 meter. Considering those values, if you substitute I1, I2 as 1, distance as 1, and mu naught value is also already the well known value, that is constant value, 4 pi into 10 power minus 7, we are substituting here. Then F equal to mu naught value 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 divided by 2 pi into 1 into 1 divided by 1. So 2 pi 2 is going to be get cancelled. So what is the force? 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton. So Newton is a SI unit of force. So here, when the current through each conductor is 1 ampere, the distance is 1 meter, then the force of attraction will be 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton. I am saying the word attraction. When they are going to be attracted, when the current in each conductor is in same direction, then the both conductors, they are going to be attract each other. Same, we can say if the current is flowing in this way, that is I1 upward, I2 downward, then they are going to be repelled. And with how much force is again 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton. If the current is in same direction, then they are going to be attracted with how much force? 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton. So this force value, we got it from the formula F equal to mu naught by 2 pi into I1 into I2 by R. What is mu naught value here? 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 divided by 2 pi into 1 divided by 1. So we got the answer as 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton. That much of force which is acting between the two state conductors. If the current is in same direction, they are going to be attracted with this much of force. If the current is in opposite direction, they are going to be repelled by 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton. So once again we are recalling the derivation. B1, that is the magnetic field produced by the conductor P1 that is acting towards this side, and that B1 value, yesterday we read the derivation, when the current is passing through a straight conductor, this is the magnetic field is producing here, that is B1, or we can say B. What is the formula? Mu naught by 2 pi into I divided by R. So this is the expression for magnetic field. The current I is passing through a straight conductor. So this expression only we are applying here. But here magnetic field is B1, so current is I1. Next, this magnetic field, due to this magnetic field, the force is acting on the second conductor, that is Q. That mechanical force is given by F2. That force is depends on the magnetic field first one, and the current second, and the length. So this generally this is based on this formula. Already we read this formula, BIL. Force acting on a current carrying conductor. Force acting on a current carrying conductor. So F equal to B into I into L. So B1 here. What is the B1 value? Mu naught by 2 pi into I1 by R. I2 as it is, L as it is. So we want force per unit length. So force per unit length becomes LL is going to be get cancelled. So the remaining thing is nothing but F equal to mu naught by 2 pi into I1 I2 by R. So based on this equation, we define the definition of ampere also. If the current through the each conductor is 1 ampere, separated between the two state conductors is 1 meter, then the value of the force will be 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton.
Talk on a current loop placed in the uniform magnetic field. Consider a rectangular loop PQRS. PQRS as shown in figure, and the current flowing through the loop is I. That is, current is I. In that loop, how much the current is flowing is I. PQ equal to RS equal to L, that is length. SP equal to QR equal to B, that is the breadth. And weight F1, F2, F3, F4. Forces acting on the arms PQ, QR, RS and S. So, whereas the forces F2, F4, F1 and F3. So, here we can see here the forces on arms SP and QR. That means F2 upward direction, F4 downward direction. Both forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, you can see in figure. So hence when the forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, we can say directly they are going to be cancelled each nothing but what is the definition of torque? Torque equal to force into perpendicular distance. What is the definition of torque? Torque equal to force into perpendicular distance. Right? So where is the force? Now here already see here F2 and F4, there is no effect of the force because they are going to cancel each other. So here the forces remaining is F1 as well as F2. So you can take any force, the force expression already we know that F equal to I into L into B. What is I? Current. What is L? Length. And that current loop kept in uniform magnetic field. How much the magnetic field is here? B. So this is the force we can replace here, and we want which distance here? Perpendicular distance. So perpendicular distance here we can see here is DE. So this DE has a component, this B sin theta exactly at this point it is divided into two components, two parts, that is B by 2 sin theta, this is B by 2 sin theta. See here F1 and F3 with the forces, and this there will be angle here is theta. So we want DE value. So what is the perpendicular distance? DE value becomes B by 2 sin theta plus B by 2 sin theta. If you add these two, you are going to get it as B by 2 plus B by 2 becomes B into sin theta. So here you can write the symbol of torque is tau. It is a vector quantity. And what will be the force here? F equal to I L B, I into L into B into what is the perpendicular distance from the figure? D into E. D into E. So tau equal to I L B into what is DE value here? B sin theta. B sin theta. Tau becomes I. Current, keep it as it is. L means length of the rectangular loop. B, breadth. So we can write like this: length into breadth into B sin theta. So torque becomes I as this, length into breadth. Length into breadth becomes area. Rectangular shape. It is in rectangular shape. So what is the area of the rectangular shape? Length into breadth. That is nothing but area. B into sin. So torque equal to I current, A area, B magnetic field, theta will be the angle. So here M, that is magnetic dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment equal to product of the current as well as area. So product of the current into area, we can substitute M value. So what the answer becomes? M B sin theta. M is called magnetic dipole moment. What is M called? Magnetic dipole moment. So I into A becomes M, B sin theta. So it is in the form of vector product or cross product. That is A cross B equal to AB sin theta. A cross B equal to AB sin theta. So we can write this in the vector form as tau, torque equal to M cross B. So M, magnetic dipole moment into magnetic field. So the cross product of M and B is called as torque expression. Special cases on torque. So what is the expression for torque? We got it as M B sin theta. Theta is the angle between M and B, and tau is called as torque, and B is called magnetic field applied, and M is the magnetic dipole moment. So case 1, when torque case 1 when torque will be minimum. If theta equal to 0 degree, comma, sin 0 degree becomes 0 and plus torque becomes 0. That is minimum. So there is no more torque when the angle between M and B is 0. Next, case 2. When torque will be maximum. When torque will be maximum. So again use the expression tau equal to m d sin theta. Now taking theta equal to 90 degree, that is perpendicular. So sin 90 value becomes 1. So tau equal to m b into 1. So what is the answer? Maximum torque is going to be exist when the angle is 90 degree. So these two are the special cases. Remember, they are going to ask for 1 mark. And tau equal to mb sin theta. If theta is 0, sin 0 becomes 0, torque will be minimum, that is 0. When the torque will be maximum, when angle is 90 degree, sin 90 becomes 1. So tau equal to mb into 1. So torque equal to m into b. This will be the maximum torque at an angle 90 degree, minimum torque at an angle 0. Most important, 2 marks definition, that is magnetic dipole moment. In first chapter, we studied electric dipole moment. So electric dipole moment is defined as the product of either charge and the separated distance called electric dipole moment. Now, the magnetic dipole moment is defined as the symbol of magnetic dipole moment is M equal to I into A. What is I? Current. What is A? Area of the loop. So we can say directly the product of the current and area of the loop is called magnetic dipole moment, and its direction is always perpendicular, and it is from south pole to north pole. And what is the SI unit of magnetic dipole moment? We can write as M equal to I into A. I means current. Current SI unit is ampere. Area SI unit is meter square. So this is the SI unit of the magnetic dipole moment. Next, dimensional formula. Ampere means A and meter square means L square. So we can say directly M equal to I into A. SI unit is ampere meter square. Dimensional formula is A into L square. So remember the definition as well as the formula, unit and dimensional formula. It is going to be asked for 2 marks. The product of the current as well as the area of the loop is for magnetic dipole moment. Next topic, magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. What is meant by magnetic dipole moment? Just we gone through the definition. Magnetic dipole moment, that is M, is defined as the product of the current and area of the loop. And now we are going to derive the derivation for the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. See the diagram. Here it is an atom. Atom having a nucleus having charge Zi, and where the electron is revolving around the nucleus in a circular path. And here the distance between the nucleus and the outermost orbit electron is the distance having r. So Zi, what is Zi? Charge of the nucleus. What is r? The distance. We can say r, the radius, and E, charge of the electron. And when the electron is revolving around the nucleus, there are 2 forces are going to be exist. One is electrostatic force and one more is centripetal force. So this is given by the name of the scientist Niels Bohr. So whenever an electron is revolving around the nucleus, the electrostatic force provided by the nucleus and electron is equal to the centripetal force, Because the electron is moving in circular path. And when the electrons are revolving or when the electrons are moving, that time the current is going to be exist. So what is the symbol of current? I. And what is the formula? I equal to Q by T. So Bohr's, according to Bohr's model, there are two forces are going to be exist. One is called electrostatic force is equal to centripetal force. So why this electrostatic force? There are two charges here. One is positive charge, one is negative charge. And why this centripetal force? This electron is moving in circular path. So when an object is moving in circular path, always there is a force is going to be exist towards its center. So that force is for centripetal force. What is the formula of centripetal force? mv square by r. What is the electrostatic force? 1 by 4 by epsilon z square by r. So these two forces are balanced. So, but here the electron is revolving. So we want the expression for magnetic dipole moment here. So how the magnetic dipole moment is defined? M equal to I into A, product of the current as well as the area. Now see here I equal to Q by T, charge by time. So what is T? Time period. So E divided by T, in place of Q we can write E also. Now velocity formula. Velocity is nothing but what? Displacement by time. And here the electron is displacing in which path? Circular path. So circular path means what is the formula? 2 pi r. So 2 pi r means circumference of the circle. So V equal to 2 pi by r. We want T, time. So just we are interchanging terms. 2 pi r divided by V. V indicates velocity, r radius, T means time. So now I equal to E by T. So here in place of T we are substituting this value. So E as it is by T value 2 pi r by V we are substituting here. So 2 pi r by V. So this V goes to numerator. So what the equation now? I becomes E into V divided by 2 pi r. So now we got the current value. So this value we got it. Now we want A. What is A? Area. So electron is moving in which path? Circular path. Circular path area formula we know that pi r square. So what is A value? Pi r square. So what is the magnetic dipole moment formula? M equal to I into A. M equal to I into A. So what is I value? We got it here is from the equation E into V by 2 pi r. Into what is the area value? Pi into r square. R will get cancelled. So what is the remaining thing? M equal to EVR by 2. What is the charge? What is the velocity? What is our radius? Now we are multiplying and dividing right hand side by ME. What is here? Mass of an electron. Mass of an electron. So EVR by 2 as it is. ME by M. So here MVR. So remember Bohr's constant. M into V into R is called angular momentum. So what is an angular momentum? Says that according to Bohr, the angular momentum of an electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2. So what the Bohr's constant says that MVR, that is angular momentum, is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So n into h by 2 pi, and where the n values starts from 1, 2, 3 like that. So MVR in place of MVR, see here MVR in place of MVR we can substitute the symbol of L, that is angular momentum, and L it can write as NH by 2 pi. NH by 2 pi. So because L equal to MVR, which is equal to NH by 2 pi. So if you do the simplification, 2 into 2 becomes 4, and here we are choosing the principal quantum number as 1. That is n value we are taken as 1. Then the magnetic moment becomes mu equal to E into H the 4 pi into m. Now, substituting the values of all the constant values, E charge of an electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, H value 6.623 into 10 power minus 34 by 4, pi value 3.14, mass of an electron 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. So, if you do the simplification, you are going to get the Bohr's magneton value as mu equal to 9.27 into 10 power minus 24 ampere meter square. And this value is also important for 1 mass. And now we got the expression for the magnetic moment for Bohr's magneton value. Also, it is called 9.27 into 10 power minus 24 ampere meter square.
Once again, we are recalling the derivation. Most important one. It is maybe expected for 5 marks. Magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. Here, we are considered an atom. Atom having a nucleus having charge Ze, and where that Z indicates atomic number, E indicates charge of the proton. And outside the nucleus, the electrons are revolving in its orbit. So these electrons are revolving continuously around the nucleus, provided by two types of forces. First is called electrostatic force, and second is called centripetal force. So the electrostatic force is provided by the centripetal force. This point, this rule is explained by the scientist Bohr. And next, whenever the electrons are revolving or moving, that time the expectation of the current is going to be made, that is I equal to charge by time. So symbol of charge, we can write it as Q or E also. So I equal to E by T. So E by T, T indicates time period. So here velocity formula, the velocity of an electron is given by displacement by time. What is the displacement value? 2 pi r by t by t. So we want a time value. So t becomes 2 pi r by v. So in place of t, if you substitute this value 2 pi r by v, then I becomes E divided by 2 pi r by v. So we can write it as I equal to EV by 2 pi r. See once again here, I equal to E by t. I equal to E by t. So in place of t, we are replacing 2 pi r by v. Then this v directly goes to numerator. So I become E into v by 2 pi r. Then we got the equation number 1, that is called current. So next, multiply by area. So electron is revolving in which path? Circular path. So what is the area of the circle? Pi r square. R indicates what? Radius. A equal to pi r. So equation number 1, EV by 2 pi r will give I value, that is current, into area. So I into A, EV by 2 pi r as it is into pi r square. R term will get cancelled. Then m value is nothing but EVR by 2. Now this value we should convert into angular momentum. So here m value is missing. So that's why we are multiplying and dividing right hand side by mass of an electron. So then m as it is, EVR as it is, me by me. That is multiplying by mass of electron and dividing by mass of an electron. And 2 remains as it is. Then what Bohr's postulate states that according to Bohr, the angular momentum of an electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Angular momentum value is how much? mvr equal to n means integral multiple by h by into h by 2 pi. So here m we are removing and we are writing L here. So L, in place of L we substituted NH by 2 pi. Then ENH by 2ME into 2 pi. And now in place of N, that is principal quantum number we are using as 1, then the magnetic moment, we can say mu equal to E into H by 2 to the 4 phi as it is, me as it is. And all the constant values, well-known values, E, charge of an electron, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, Planck's constant value, 6.625 into 10 power minus 34, pi value 3.14, mass of an electron, 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. If you substitute all the constant value, after simplification, the final answer becomes 9.27 into 10 power minus 24 ampere meter square. So this is also called force magneton value.
Next, we must similar topic. One is conversion of a galvanometer to ammeter, and next we are going to discuss conversion of a galvanometer to voltmeter. So what is an ammeter? It is an instrument which is used to measure the current. And what is meant by a galvanometer? It is a sensitive instrument which is going to measure the small defects of the current. So what is meant by galvanometer? It is a small instrument which is used to measure the small defects of the current. And see here, this ammeter is an instrument used to measure the current. And this ammeter is always connected in series. How the ammeter is connected? In series to a circuit. And this galvanometer, we are converting galvanometer into ammeter. So how we can convert? So this is the main point here. Galvanometer can be converted into ammeter by connecting a low resistance, a small resistance value. This low resistance value is called shunt, and this value we are connecting parallel to it. Most important point here. See, a galvanometer is converting into ammeter by connecting a small resistance. So that small resistance is called a shunt, and how it should be connected? Parallel. And see here diagram. This is a galvanometer, and here how much the current is? Actually, the main current is I. I divided into two parts here. So the current through this G is Ig, and the remaining current, that is I minus Ig, is moving and that is passing through small resistance. And this small resistance, it is connected parallel. So their symbol of this small resistance is called shunt. The symbol is yes. So see here, this is current and this is resistance, and this is current and this is the resistance. So what is the main current here is I. Main current I is divided into two roots. One is Ig, remaining is I minus Ig. So we can write this, it is as Ig into G. Ig into G. So first branch current into resistance. Second branch current into resistance. That is I minus Ig into S. So you can calculate the value of S by changing the formula as S equal to Ig into G by I minus Ig. So what is Ig? Current through galvanometer. What is G? Resistance in galvanometer. And what is I is current. S is question mark. So you can find the value of S using the expression Ig into G divided by I minus Ig. So this is the most important expression. Based on this, you are going to expect a problem also. See once again. This, what is the main current is? I is divided into two branches. That means in two direction the current is divided. Ig is the one direction. The remaining current is I minus Ig. What is the actual current? I. Some current is flowing through the galvanometer. So that is Ig. and remaining the thing is I minus Ig. So Ig into resistance, the current into resistance here, current into resistance. So we are equated current into resistance, current into resistance. So Ig into G becomes I minus Ig into S. So S equal to Ig into G divided by I minus Ig. So what is the Ig? Current through the galvanometer. Simple. I suffix G. So G indicates galvanometer, I indicates current. And what is capital G? Resistance to galvanometer or resistance in galvanometer. What is I indicates current, and you are going to expect the problem on the formula, and the question mark is find the resistance or find the small resistance when the galvanometer is converted into ammeter. So using this expression you can find out any value, or you can find the sign value of small resistance. What is the final expression? S equal to Ig into G divided by I minus Ag. Galvanometer into ammeter. So galvanometer means it is an instrument which will show the current diffraction in small, and this ammeter is an instrument which is used to measure the current. And always remember, this ammeter is connected in series. How it is connected? In series in any circuit. Then we are converting galvanometer into ammeter by taking a small resistance, and that resistance we are connecting in parallel. So that is what is what sign. And here Ig into G, that is one branch. See, this is second branch. We are equating these two. We got the answer as S equal to Ig into G divided by I minus Ig. Conversion of a galvanometer into voltmeter. Last we discussed conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. So what is meant by ammeter? It is an instrument which is used to measure the current. And what is voltmeter? It is an instrument which is used to measure the potential difference. Voltmeter, it is an instrument which is used to measure the potential difference. And this potential difference means if the symbol is V, and this potential difference is to measure the potential difference, the voltmeter is always connected in parallel. So always remember, ammeter is an instrument which is used to measure the current, and whereas the voltmeter, it is an instrument which is used to measure the potential difference called voltage. So voltmeter and instrument to measure the voltage potential difference, and it is always connected in parallel. Now we are converting a galvanometer into voltmeter. So to convert the galvanometer into voltmeter, we are taking a resistance, that is high resistance value in series. We are connecting a high resistance value in series, then we can convert the galvanometer into voltmeter. See the figure here, G galvanometer, and we have taken their resistance, and this is the circuit symbol of resistance. How much the resistance is here? R, and how much the current is here? Ig. So we want V, that is potential difference. So you can apply Ohm's law, V into I into R. In this manner, see here, V equal to Ig. This is the current. This current is passing through G as well as R. This Ig current entering into the G as well as R, because it has only single direction. So that is Ig into G, Ig into G plus Ig into R. That will give the total potential difference value. So V equal to Ig into G plus R. Then if you take this Ig value left hand side, becomes V by Ig equal to G plus R. So we got R value. So R becomes V divided by Ig remains as it is. So this plus G, if it comes left side, the answer becomes minus G. So what is the final expression? R equal to V divided by Ig minus G. And see here, this current is passing through G as well as R. So that's why Ig into G plus Ig into R. We can write it as directly taking Ig common, G plus R. Means Ig into G plus Ig into R. So taking Ig common, G plus R, then this Ig goes this side, it becomes V by Ig equal to G plus R. So keeping R as it is, R becomes V by Ig minus G. So this is also most important expression. We can expect a problem. So, and this derivation is also important for 3 marks. Conversion of a gallon meter into ammeter as well as conversion of a gallon meter into voltmeter. Both are important for 3 marks. And see once again, we have converted a gallon meter into voltmeter by taking the voltmeter, and that voltmeter is nothing but an instrument which is used to measure potential difference. And this is the most important point here. Galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in series. In the last session, we have taken small resistance that is connected in parallel, and here high resistance will be connected into series. So V equals to Ig into G plus Ig into R. Ig taken common, G plus R. So V by Ig equal to G plus R. Then R becomes V by Ig minus G. So this is the final expression for this. So simple topic. Distinguish between ammeter and voltmeter. The difference is between ammeter and voltmeter. What is an ammeter? This instrument which is used to measure the electric current. What is meant by voltmeter? It is used to measure the voltage or potential difference. And always remember this ammeter in any circuit it is connected in series. And the ideal ammeter value has 0 resistance, and here this voltmeter is always connected in parallel to any circuit, and an ideal voltmeter has an infinite resistance. That means R value is infinite for ideal voltmeter and R value is 0 for an ideal ammeter. So remember, ammeter is used to measure current, voltmeter is used to measure potential difference, whereas the current SI unit is ampere and the ammeter symbol is A and voltmeter symbol is denoted by V, and ammeter connected in series and voltmeter is connected in parallel. Ideal ammeter has 0 resistance, whereas an ideal voltmeter has infinite resistance. These are the simple differences between ammeter as well as voltmeter. So last, cyclotron. Simple 1 marks, 2 marks question. Cyclotron is used to accelerate the positively charged particles or positively ions to higher energy levels. And this cyclotron are used to bombard nuclei, that means to study the nuclear chain reactions or nuclear reactions. And second, implant ions, and third one in hospitals, that is diagnosis or and any treatment they are going to use. And remember the uses, and it is going to be asked for 2 marks, and what is meant by cyclotron, it is going to be asked for 1 marks. So once again, what is meant by cyclotron? It is used to, this cyclotron is used to accelerate, means speed up the particles. Which particles? Positively charged particles to higher energy levels. And these cyclotrons have many applications like bombardment of nuclei as well as implant ions as well as in hospital treatments. And see the diagram also here. You practice the diagram. And what is meant by cyclotron and the applications of cyclotron. This much is enough, and no need to practice for theory and working of the cyclotron. I am also providing some important questions in the chapter, moving charges and magnetism. 5 marks expected questions. Magnetic field due to circular coil carry current. Force between 2 parallel conductors with including the definition of ampere. So these 2 are the most important and expected questions generally. Okay, number of times these 2 questions are repeated in an exam. And next, one more expected question is magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. So these 3 are expected for how many marks? 5 marks questions, that is long answer questions. Now, come to know the 3 marks questions list using Ampere's circular law. That means using the statement of Ampere's circular law, derive an expression for a long state conductor. So this is also most important question. And next, F equal to QVB sin theta, that is force acting on a charged particle and force acting on a current carrying conductor. Then conversion of a galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter, and based on these two formulas may be expectation of a problem. You can expect a problem for 3 marks also. Then Biot-Savart law, definition, formula and vector form also. And this vector form you can expect for 1 marks. Then velocity selector derivation, radius of circular path in a magnetic field, and these are the expected questions for 3 marks questions. And now you come to 2 marks questions. Cyclotron uses. The cyclotron uses. Next, what is meant by solenoid? What is meant by toroid and force? Then Lorentz force expression and as well as rules. Whatever the rules we have studied in interaction, these are we are going to expect for 2 marks. And finally, I am recalling the most important questions. For 5 marks questions, magnetic field due to a circular coil current or force between two parallel conductors. These two are most important. And in 3 marks questions, here this is the most important one. That is using Ampere's circular law, derive an expression for a long state conductor. Then after that, this one, continue 3. F equal to QVB sin theta, F equal to ILB sin theta, and this conversion of a galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter, and this Biot-Savart law is also important. And previous exam, that is 2020, we expected a problem for 2 marks based on this velocity selector, that is the formula V equal to E by B. E means electric field, B means magnetic field. Then remember the cyclotron uses. Then what is solenoid, what is solenoid definitions and formula. No need to practice the derivations and no need to practice the working. Okay. Then remember the Lorentz force formula. This Lorentz explains the force due to both combined electric and as well as magnetic field, that is F equal to Fe plus Fb, already studied, and the most important rules also in practice. Students, we completed the theoretical part of moving charges magnetism, that is chapter number 4, completely theory with important and expected questions list. Now, next session we are going to discuss NCERT problems based on the important formulas.